which is stopping when you ask them.
Hello, I'm now recording some more. We start with this.
So you might have
I don't know what that is. That's a Wealden wagon from 1860. So that would have been horse-drawn.
So what Chloe is going to do is going to look very similar.
I'm now going to work my way down towards.
Leave a dummy on this side of the ring.
Just going to work my way towards the tractors.
Emma's going to know that it's there. She's going to walk away.
Various things. It's not a very big show, so I'll probably
She's going to
get this all done in one go.
And then she's going to walk further away. Now, what you might think is going to happen
this is the Ryan District Country Show.
Dummy, but she is not.
So obviously we're Sea of Fordson Dexter.
Emma's got to be really clever here. So what's going to happen? Chloe's
quite a late on Dexter by the looks of things. Diesel,
and then she's going to stop her on the whistle,
diesel powered rig.
And then send her back.
Right. Now there's the horse stuff. Not really into that. This looks like an oh.
But I think they deserve a little clap for that. How clever
is that? Right, now I've got a view of it.
We need to have dogs that
this is at Evelyn and Porter Invicta Steamroller. These were always made in Kent, although this one seems to have served down in Wiltshire.
Is the stop and redirect.
So single cylinder steam engine.
Do you want to go to the other side with Ronya?
So yeah, this side. At every show you're going to see one or two steam engines.
So sometimes there might be two birds down. Yeah. So far there's only been one thing. It's been pretty obvious for the dog what they're going to be fetching, but sometimes there might be two things. And we've got to have, again, control. The dogs are going to be happy all the time. You notice they're loving all these games that we're playing with them.
Yeah.
So we've got our dogs sat up.
There's a load of sheep there. And that's where they'll do the shearing, but again it's not something that I'm into. We do see an old school sort of cart attached to what looks like a Fordson Model N Special, which is the wartime paint job. It's to stop them from being spotted from the air, because, well, yeah, it was horrible times, really. There's a Massey Ferguson sort of baling machine. There's a baling machine, Massey Ferguson. They would have made I think they would have rolled him up or made bales out of it. And no show is complete without stationary engines. So there's a Lister stationary engine powering up a Bamford corn grinding thingy. I'll video that in a minute. Looks like it's a side valve engine as well. We see here a water pump. I don't know which one it is, being powered by a Petta. The Petta has a sort of acorn top, you know, where the cooling pond really. On top of the cylinder head there's a cooling reservoir. It just evaporates. It's shaped like an acorn, so that's essentially a Petta. Look at that. I love seeing these running. These are really cool. You can also get the basics of 4-stroke or 2-stroke just looking at these. I don't know what this one is. Oh look, wait a minute, that's an Amanco. Looks like an air-cooled one. know what this one is. I might have to ask. I know it says 1915 Montgomery Ward Dairy Made, but is that who made the engine as well?
No.
No.
Ford's foundry made the engine and then supplied it to Montgomery Ward, which is an old like catalogue.
Oh, right.
And then they sold it as through the catalogue.
Yeah, because it looks quite similar, like air-cooled hit and miss, as to that Amanco over there.
Yeah.
But whenever I see an Amanco station engine, that doesn't look like a normal one, because the normal one has a funny shape, you know, like the pocket hopper, cooling hopper. Yeah, I didn't know the technical term. I like looking at these because it kind of reminds me of the most basic engine. 4-stroke with suck, squeeze, bang, blow, and 2-stroke which sounds like the Crazy Frog or a Trabant. I've seen Trabant, nearly got gassed out by one once. Same with a Sparkberg, so I know what a 2-stroke is. I think when it's compressing, it's letting stuff in. When it's being sent back down, I don't know, 2 strokes. So it's trying to do several jobs at once. That's why you get oil in the smoke. Although I think you get dry sunk 2 strokes. I've never seen one. Yeah, that'd be a 4-stroke, wouldn't it? So hit and miss. So flywheel's going along nicely, and then as soon as it starts to slow down, it sparks up.
It's got fans in the fins in the flywheels to cool it.
Yeah, because I noticed there's fins on the cylinder as well. Actually, I might want to ask you about the Lister I've just seen, because that's not a D.
No.
Is that a L? That's a Model L.
Yeah.
So that green Lister over there is a Model L. I can never remember these things. There's one stationary engine I've not seen in many years, and it was called a German Army generator unit, and it had a Wankel engine in it. And they brought it along. You had all the stationary engines running. They got that running, it just drowned out through so much noise. I think he got banned. He must have got banned because I've not seen it since. Because we are talking, this thing is so loud, I could hear it at the other end of the field. And I was trying to do something that sounds like an angry wasp. And I was like, what the? Yeah, because there's a Manco, but that's not a hired hand, is it? So that's a hired hand as well. Yeah, because I thought the hired man and hired
man to look for, hired man down.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah, the hired man is the one with the strange looking. It's sort of a square and it expands outwards into a bigger square. And like the petter seems to be acorn shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an acorn type. The water pump, I couldn't read the question concerning what that was. Yes, if we go back round here, we have a look at the hired hand. That turns out to be a hired hand. But the water pump I've got not a clue on. Being powered by a Petter acorn type. Not the smoothest action on the planet. Yeah, I'm not sure about the water pump. Not the smoothest action on the planet, but to be honest with you, they were probably glad to have it. I suspect when they first got these downland farms, they thought, this is wonderful.
Oh yeah.
And no more letting the horses do the water pumping or doing the... Because this is an interesting point. I'm going back to water supply. There's a pub in Rye called Waterway. Used to be a soup kitchen, public loo, storehouse, antique shop. But it was set up as a water pumping station. And it would either be windmills driving it or horse drawn. So I suspect running water pumps, running anything like that would have been horse drawn. Got one of these in, that equivalent of a horsepower, 1.5, 2 horsepower. Horses must have been glad not to have to do anything anymore. To power this. But, you know, it's kind of... So I suspect some houses would have had a well, and they would have put that out of the well.
Yeah.
Probably look better than that though, but...
Oh yeah.
Well, nowadays they get it through batteries like chlorine and all sorts of stuff in it. It has to be there because even the reservoirs look a bit iffy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to drink straight out of it. Yeah, interesting little things these are. Is this that's not a hit and miss, is it? That's firing on 2 strokes. So as the piston goes up to compress, it's letting stuff in. And it's also pushing exhaust gases out, I think. Yeah, I can't remember the sequence very well. So I don't tend to do a lot of 2-stroke stuff, it's all 4-stroke.
Yeah.
Touch, squeeze, bang, blow.
When the piston goes down, sucks it in, comes up, compresses it, fires, pushes the piston back down.
The exhaust is going out as other stuff's coming in.
When it comes back up, pushes the exhaust down, and it starts again as it goes back down, sucks the fuel in.
Yeah, I've seen 2-stroke cars. I think there was a DKW, no not DKW, Alco Union, sorry. But the engine itself was a DKW. And I think it was that design they used in, I'll just mention East Germany. Used to be 2 Germanies for some reason, I won't go into why.
Yeah.
Only that West Germany had Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Opel, all sorts of cool stuff. Eastern Bloc. The only time you smoke car not a lot is revving the engine because it's 2-stroke. They do look fun to drive, but I bet they're not that quick. The Ultra Banks. They do look as though if you want to have a really hard road trip, you go on something like that. And they used to even have camping equipment. You used to be able to camp on them. They used to have tents you put above them. They had all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
They were just glad to have them. I have seen 1 or 2 in Britain. I saw one that come over from Halsham. I think the journey must have been hard because they're all arguing, but in fact if I had to have anything from East Germany I prefer the Wartburg because it's slightly bigger engine and the only people going to get smoked out are the people behind you. I did follow a Wartburg night once. I nearly coughed my guts up. Not great, but yeah, so that's 2-stroke. I never really asked about that side of things. 2-stroke, never really asked about it. So I know that's a Pessa Acorn type. I didn't know they were 2-stroke. Because I know Villiers used to make 2-strokes that are pretty good. So it's still a motorbike, stationary engines, generators, all sorts. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with this. I'll go to the tractors now, hopefully. Right, I'm going to move round to the tractors. I've spent quite a bit of time at the stationary engines, but I never knew the Petta was a 2-stroke. Let people move a bit further forward. This is a McCormick International Farmall. There's a David Brown 30D, another Fordson Dexter, Ford 5000 up here. See in the background the lovely countryside that we're in. Right, this is a Cola wheel horse, and next to it is a Ransoms tracked vehicle. There's a John Deere D. So there's a John Deere D. What the heck is it? Oh, this looks like an International. Yeah, we're going to have a bit more look at these, because it seems there's people enjoying the show. That looks like an International. Don't know which one. It's got a 276 diesel in it. That's the one to my furthest left. There's an International in front of me in group. Looks as though it's been well used, shall we say. There's right. If we carefully go to the International, now to my left is a Fordson Dexter. Oh right, there's a player match going on. There's a Massey Ferguson 20 in yellow. If we move further along, we now see a Fordson Major, and by looks of things a Fordson Model N. There's a Ford 3000 there. I'm just going to skip past, because I've actually spotted, by looks of things, a Ferguson TEF 20 next to Massey Ferguson. Doesn't say, because, well, that looks like it's probably a 65, or probably a 65. There's a very strange tracked vehicle, which I haven't got a clue what it is, but the trailer itself also has a tracked bit on it as well. Yes, so next to the Ferguson was a Ford 3000. I didn't really get a good view of it, because, well, some people like to sometimes let people go on them, because tractors are very interesting. But here's a couple of Field Marshals. They're both diesels, and if I think what it is, it's a 1 cylinder and it's 2-stroke diesel. And if I think the firing up of one of these is, you can actually use a blank cartridge of some kind. I won't say it too much, but farmers will have these special cartridges, shall we say, and you stick it in there, and you put it. But first you got to stick a burning bit in there and sort of crank it over, and then you just hit that and it just starts. The force actually starts out. You can actually run them backwards, run the engine backwards, and you can even make it where it doesn't complete its stroke, it just stands there and just shakes. So this is another diesel Field Marshal. And if we go to about here, we see a Ferguson 30, so it's just before the 35. Now I thought the TEF 20 evolved into the 35, then become Massey Ferguson 35. Well, obviously it didn't. I really must read up on tractors a bit more, but this looks like a David Brown by the looks of things. I think that's a David Brown, I think.
One of those. Can you tell me a little bit about your Hillman mix?
Right, I think that's this part of the show done. Well, I'm just going to go and have a look down here at some of the horses, because there's horses involved in this. Yeah, so there's some horses there. Not really my cup of tea, but yeah, so I think that's that's it actually. See all the countryside down there, there's the horses and that. That's about it really.